Imagine you're in a life or death situation, your heart racing, every second feeling like an eternity, and you dial 911, only to hear silence. No ringing. No dispatcher. Nothing. That's exactly what millions of Americans faced during the shocking 911 outage of 2025, a sudden breakdown of our most trusted emergency system that left families helpless, first responders stranded, and government agencies scrambling for answers. This wasn't a minor glitch, it was a coast-to-coast blackout of the one number we're all taught to rely on in our darkest hour. Across cities like Houston, Chicago, Dallas, and parts of the West Coast, terrified residents discovered that dialing 911 meant hitting a digital dead end. Calls either failed entirely or were routed to out-of-state dispatchers unfamiliar with the caller's location, creating chaos during house fires, medical emergencies, and even active crimes. This wasn't a cyber attack from a foreign power, nor a massive natural disaster. It was reportedly a cascading technical failure linked to telecommunications providers, with AT&T and other network carriers at the center of the storm. But how could one of the most powerful nations on Earth lose access to its emergency backbone in mere minutes? Investigations revealed a misconfigured software update that spread like wildfire across interconnected systems, triggering outages, communication errors, and total breakdown of call routing. But if it was just a bug, why didn't backup systems kick in? Why weren't local governments, fire departments, and hospitals notified sooner? Inside sources say internal chaos and poor cross-agency communication delayed critical alerts for hours. While tech companies released carefully worded apologies, millions of Americans were left asking a terrifying question. What if it happens again? What if your loved one is choking, your home is on fire, or you witness a violent crime, and help is unreachable? This event was more than just a technical mishap. It exposed a chilling truth, that our nation's emergency response system, built decades ago, is terrifyingly fragile in today's hyper-connected world. For years, experts have warned that the 911 infrastructure is outdated, still relying on analog routes, patchwork upgrades, and regional management chaos. But nobody listened. Until now. The outage sparked congressional hearings, public outrage, and urgent demands for accountability. Senators grilled telecom executives, demanding to know why redundancy protocols failed and why no real-time public alert system warned citizens that 911 was down. Could this have been avoided? Cybersecurity professionals argue that the lack of investment in secure routing protocols and real-time monitoring made this disaster inevitable. Imagine hospitals unable to call ambulances, schools unable to report violence, or seniors with medical alerts stuck in limbo. This was our wake-up call, a national red alert flashing not just through headlines but through every unanswered emergency call. Meanwhile, many citizens turned to social media, desperately tweeting, posting, and even live-streaming their emergencies hoping someone, anyone, would help. Incredibly, some were rescued because friends saw their posts before first responders were even aware. That's how deeply we've come to rely on 911, and how paralyzing it becomes when it fails. But the emotional impact of this outage can't be measured in data alone. Families of victims say they now fear trusting the system again. A mother in Texas shared that her child suffered a severe asthma attack, and they waited over 30 minutes for assistance because her calls kept dropping. In another chilling case, a woman experiencing domestic violence was unable to reach help, forcing her to flee her home in the middle of the night, barefoot and terrified. These are not just statistics. These are real lives caught in the ripple effect of a system collapse. Lawmakers are now pushing for a total digital overhaul of the 911 system, advocating for a unified national emergency infrastructure that isn't fragmented by state lines or corporate control. One major proposal includes building a cloud-based national dispatch grid with satellite redundancy, AI-driven location tracking, and emergency SMS integration, making sure help finds you, even when cell towers fail. But critics warn that new tech brings new vulnerabilities. Who will secure this cloud? Who controls the data? And what happens if it, too, fails? As the debate rages, one thing is certain. The illusion of emergency readiness has been shattered. The 2025 outage was a moment of national vulnerability, where every second counted, and for many, help never came. Experts now say we must learn from this disaster, not just react with patchwork fixes. It's a call to action for smarter infrastructure, stronger communication lines, and most importantly, public awareness. You need to know what to do when 911 fails, because it already has. Emergency officials now recommend that every household have backup contact methods, like direct numbers to local fire and police stations, first aid kits, and emergency SMS options pre-programmed into devices. Parents are being urged to teach children alternative ways to reach help, like using neighborhood watch contacts or driving directly to fire stations when possible. The days of assuming 911 will always work are over. For decades, we've taken that 3-digit number for granted, believing it to be unshakable, immediate, and universal. But that belief cost us, maybe even lives. As this incident fades from headlines, the danger remains. Will we rebuild a safer, more resilient 911 system, or wait for the next breakdown to remind us again? Some say this was a one-off fluke. Others argue it was a long overdue exposure of systemic neglect. Either way, the message is clear. When emergencies strike, seconds matter, and in 2025, the clock ran out. Don't wait for another outage to realize how vulnerable we all are. This isn't just about broken lines and missed calls. It's about trust. Trust in the system meant to protect us. So if you're watching this and thinking, that could never happen in my city, think again. Because it already has. And unless we fix what's broken, next time, it could be you who dials 911 and hears nothing.